Well, the Supreme Court got most of the headlines at the end of the week. But for those of you who still wanted to see some stuff about the economy and the stock market and of course, Tesla, well, it was a great week. And we're going to report about that now. We'll get into the details right after I say, hi, this is Randy Kirk, and I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. The channel is actually made all of my numbers. So, Tesla's making their numbers. Well, I hit all of my numbers here at the end of June. I actually exceeded my expectations in terms of views, in terms of folks signing up to subscribe. Everything is bigger than I was hoping for. It's great. Thank you so much. You can help me just by continuing to subscribe, continuing to hit notify, watch the videos. All of that is such a great help to the channel. I will try to bring you the best information, the best advice and direction, if you want to call it advice. This is not I don't give investment advice, of course. I give you how I see the market and how I see things and what I'm doing for myself. Okay, and then of course, Patreon is a great way to support the channel. Buying the books is another great way to support the channel. I have started doing some advertising. You may have noticed this on a couple of videos. That is necessary if I'm going to actually get this to where it is overall a very good deal to be doing it as more than just a hobby, okay? But it's really close, and who knows, maybe eventually I'll have enough income from just the advertising revenues that I get from YouTube to be able to support the entire project. Right now, we're about halfway there. Anything is possible, but I'm needing to supplement that now with some advertising. Now, Patreon could also make up the difference, but it's not even coming close. All right, let's get into it. The real takeaway from this week is that the stock market is pretty sure there isn't going to be a recession. Do you think there's going to be a recession? Comment below, yes or no, or give me some details. Do you think there's going to be a recession? I think I've said for weeks now, no recession. I've even seen some pundits now that are pushing the recession into next year. I don't even see the logic of how there's going to be a recession next year. What's going to cause that? The Fed continuing to push interest rates higher and higher and higher. Well, they'd have to push them like another, maybe, if they push them another 200 basis points, another 2 full points higher, maybe that would force the country into a recession. That's not going to happen. I don't even know where they're getting the idea. There's a lot of demand for cars right now. Used car prices are going up again. The fleet is super old. People need to buy the things that they've been putting off. People are traveling like crazy. I don't get it. I don't see where we're going to be in a recession at all, but I certainly don't see it for next year. Okay. Well, every indicator right now is showing an economy that has totally solid momentum. The GDP for Q1 was raised to 2%. I think that was on Monday or Tuesday. The job market is plenty strong. We saw that all week long with all kinds of reporting. There's no weak sectors right now. Tell me what's the weak sector? Retail is okay. It's not great, but it's doing okay. People are spending money. We'll talk about that in a second. Housing prices are actually up. Sales are the best that could be expected. They're getting 4 offers on the average listed property. That's not a recession, folks. So some people have talked about the rolling recession. No, I think right now I can't find a sector that's doing poorly. I can see some that are doing average or okay. I don't see any sectors that are doing poorly right now. So what about the inflation issue? Well, that's the other thing from this week. I think that has now been proven to be old news. That's last year's news. The bond market, it's been trading in a range now. The 10-year has been between 3.3 and 4.2 for months and months and months. Right now, it's smack dab in the middle at 3.8. And that tells me that the bond market's betting that the Fed will pause again, or that this 25 basis increase will not have an effect on markets at all. It won't affect bond rates. It won't affect consumer interest. It won't affect anything. It'll just be a 25 basis increase that will affect what the Fed is actually doing in their overnights and whatnot. Now, continuing to reduce money, continuing to sell off assets and reduce the total amount of money in circulation, yes, it's coming down rapidly. But as I mentioned last week, it appears that the amount of money the money that is out there is moving a little faster. And that, of course, is what's necessary to keep the economy going. It also turns out that we have not gotten back down to the money supply that was at the pre-pandemic levels. Maybe we're still okay on money supply. Be interested to see if Kathy Wood mentions anything about that next Friday. Okay, so I think the bond market is telling us inflation is behind us. Personal income came in higher than inflation again. That's another piece of news that helps both the economy and inflation. Some think that personal spending came in a little high, but I think we're going to see folks spending money on vacations and staycations the next few months. So I don't think that's necessarily going to be down much. I could see that after summer, because people have got a lot of pent up demand for vacation and staycation, I think we could see a significant pullback from Christmas, from after back to school until Christmas. So there could be a couple of months where retail doesn't do that great, but other sectors, probably will be doing great. Now, what's going to be driving all of this is, of course, AI, all the conversation about AI, but it's not just conversation. It's that companies are already getting massive efficiencies out of the GPT kind of products. They're already reporting on these efficiencies. They're already reporting on not having to hire as many. They're already reporting on actually reducing staff as a result. You're seeing a lot of companies that are recognizing that this is going to be a massive savings. Well, massive savings end up adding to wealth in the overall economy. I said it this morning, and I'll say it again. The Fed has been late to the party over and over again. They were late to the party in terms of when they stopped reducing. They had this zero, cost of funds. They waited way too long to turn that around. They thought that the inflation was going to be transitory. They were late on that. They were late on increasing in order to bring down this so-called transitory inflation. They didn't recognize anything about the boom-bust aspect of this economic situation. They should have been able to recognize that boom bust is not something that's a surprise. I've talked about this so many times. I was talking to one of my bike shop customers the other day that I do marketing with, and he and I talked about all the boom busts that he and I have been through and how eventually everything gets back into stasis again, it gets back to where it was, and then that whole issue has been dealt with. Well, that's what we're seeing now. We've had a boom and a bust in this industry, and then a boom and a bust in that industry, and a boom and a bust in this product line. Oil going up here and then coming back. And so now all of it is getting back to kind of normal, but the Fed is saying, oh, no, we still need to, got so much work to do. I think what they're going to do is they're going to push this down to less than zero inflation. They're going to actually get some deflation going on before they stop the nonsense. They're going to overshoot again. Hopefully, you'll tell them. Kathy will tell them. Elon will tell them. Hopefully, a lot of people will start shouting at them. It is time to pause. And by the end of this year, you're going to need to start dropping the interest rates and maybe pumping a little bit of money into the economy. Of course, Tesla had lots of good news this week. Everyone is lining up for the next standard. VW looks like they will be next. But you know what the great part about this is? I know I mentioned it before, maybe this morning or earlier this week, but the great part about it is that this is opening the door to more opportunities with these companies. Mary Barr even said it. We need for the major OEMs to partner up more. So that's one good thing that Mary Barr has said. That's one. Anyway, so yes, once you've opened the door, how many times have I gotten a new client? I get in there with one product or one product line, and then all of a sudden that opens the door to get in lots more product, lots more opportunities to do business. Same thing can happen here. I am predicting that by the end of this year or into early next year, certainly within the next 9 months, there will be a contract between Tesla and one of the other car companies, which will be for something other than supercharging. I'm predicting that. I'm sticking with that. It will probably be, who knows what it'll be on, but it'll be on something that Tesla's doing now that they know they're never going to catch up. So it's going to be like, okay, we'll do a licensing agreement. Let's see. I know there's more. Oh yeah, of course. We're coming up to July 2. All the analysts are increasing their numbers, or as we get closer and closer. Troy Tesla, he was at 437 like 2 weeks ago. Now he's at 448. It seems like everybody's right around 448 except me and a couple of others. I'm at 460. You'll hear from Larry Goldberg tomorrow morning. He's at about 450, right around there, 451. I think that 460 is the number, but who knows? And I'm saying 460 is both the shipments as well as the production. Some people are saying production will be much higher, maybe 10 to 20,000 higher than what's shipped. That's real possible because, you know, with all these ships at sea and all the trains and truckloads, it's you know, it's hard to have everything sell through at exactly the right time. And Tesla's not working as hard as they used to get that done. A few outliers are at 490,000 to 510,000 in terms of shipments. I think that would be a shock. I don't think that the stock market would get over it on Monday. They might have to stop trading if the number came in that high. Anyway, I was at 490 for a long time. I will admit that like 2 weeks ago, I dropped my number to 460 because I don't think there's any chance it's 490. Okay. Anything over 455, in my opinion, should move the market on Monday. The Musk-Zuck fight is also a very big deal. I talked about it this morning, but since I talked to you about it, we know that the Colosseum in Rome reached out to the representatives for Zuck and Musk and said, hey, would you like to have the fight in the Colosseum? Apparently now the official government in Italy has reached out and said, we think that'd be wonderful. The fight promoters are saying that this would be probably triple the amount of pay-per-view income compared to the biggest fight that they've ever done to date. Talk about free publicity for Tesla, for Elon, for all of his companies. I can't even imagine if this guy is so good at publicity. All right, so reminding you again, tomorrow morning is Larry Goldberg. He's going to uncover buried treasure at Tesla that will have significant impact on future earnings. I'm telling you now, you don't want to miss this. I didn't know this. I don't think you know this. I don't think anybody's paying any attention to this at all. And it's not in the millions. It's in the billions. You don't want to miss it. And then so hit like, hit subscribe, hit notify so you don't forget to watch that show tomorrow morning with Larry. And yeah, I think that's all I got, except for maybe you'd like to be part of Patreon. This is Randy Kirk. It's been great talking to you.